Yes guys, how are we doing? Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. If you're watching this, thank you for coming along to watch it. Any support I get on this channel it means a lot, because I'm just seeing what I can do with this. Like I said many times, if you haven't checked out my previous videos, feel free to. If not, it is what it is. Today, obviously the international break started now, so trying to find stuff to talk about which is relevant is tricky. I haven't done a video on Tuchel's squad. I was going to do one looking at that, but it seems a bit long-winded to break down a whole squad while driving. Probably not safe either to try and do that. But so actually, I wanted to have it kind of related, but not completely just taking that. I want to look at the potential starting 11. Should we reach a World Cup final? What would my starting 11 be, and what do I think Tuchel would play? I'm going to do two options for both positions, or try to, depending on what I think Tuchel will play, and depending on what I would pick personally. Yeah, so we'll get straight into it. We'll start with the back four and obviously move forwards. I think you can't really look anywhere else but Pickford to be in goal, to be honest. Once upon a time I would have called for Ramsdale when he was at Arsenal, but that was before, I want to say, before the last World Cup maybe, and I thought he was outstanding in the last World Cup for us, Pickford, so I can't look past Pickford. I don't think Tuchel will look past Pickford, unless Ramsdale gets a move to like Chelsea or something in the summer and has a big season next year. Even though I still think it would be hard for him to displace Pickford, I think he needs to have a good three years, maybe, Ramsdale, with all the trust that we brought up on Pickford now, and how he's actually a lot more solid and a lot more comfortable having him in goal than he used to be. When he first got to Everton, he was very erratic as a keeper, and he seems to have like calmed down a bit. He's not so all over the place, as how I'd put it. He's obviously still a bit crazy, but he takes that craziness out when the ball's not flying towards him, basically. So he's not prone to a howler as much these days. So yeah, definitely go Pickford in goal. Back four is where we start getting some deviations, I think, between what I think he'll do and what I would play. I think right back is the first one. I think we're going to play a 4-2-3-1. I know people think Tuchel might do a 3-back, but he has played a 4-2-3-1 for most of his managerial career. He just did the 3-back in Chelsea because of the players he had available to him. So right back, I would go with. I think I'd go with Trent. Because I think he's so good that you can't leave him out of the team. And I think it showed on the weekend when Liverpool played Newcastle without him. They really did struggle. Even just playing at the back, having the option to go along with Trent, and just helping to dictate the play. And Tuchel can play somewhat like a fullback to tuck inside if he wants to. But I don't think you need to do that with Trent, because what I'm imagining is you'll have him running on the outside of my winger, or our winger, who cuts inside. So you can literally play Trent as a natural right back. I think it would work. But I think he'll go with Reece James. I think he wants to go with players that he trusts. And if Reece James is fit, I think he plays him. Apparently he triple checked with Chelsea that he could actually take in this international break, which shows how much he wants him, but wants to take care of him as well. So he's obviously going to pick players he trusts, and he loves Reece James, and he's already come out and said, look, he's going to be a fullback for me, he's going to be a right back. This central midfielder thing's not working for me, like it's not going to work with the way I want to play. So I think we deviate there. I think he'll play Reece James because of his time with Chelsea, and he's a bit more defensively solid. You know, that's the thing for years, was that Walker was the one if you want to play defensive, Trent was one if you want to play attacking, and Reece James was the best of both. Now, if that's still the case, we have to wait and see, and wait for Reece James to get a season under his belt, because he hasn't even got a season under his belt in who knows how long. And he's playing in midfield now, so it's a bit different. It's not like he's playing naturally at right back now. So I think that, personally, I think that should work against him, because he's not playing the position he's going to be asked to. But I think Tuchel trusts him, and that's what counts basically in international football, is how much the manager trusts you, because he can't train you very much. So he's got to understand the system and understand what the manager wants, and that's what Reece James already has. That's what these Chelsea players have an advantage over other players, because they know how the manager wants to play and they've trained with him before. So they know his ideas and his values and everything like that. So they're going to come in with an advantage. Obviously, other players can catch up. The good ones will. But they're going to be starting behind the Chelsea players in the pecking order, basically. If Mason Mount was fit, I promise you he'd be in this squad. I promise you he would be. And then centre halves. I think if John Stones is fit, he obviously plays. I think that's without a doubt. Both of us would be playing him. And he normally is fit for the summer tournaments. He very rarely isn't fit. He got himself fit for the last one. So I think he has to go John Stones at right centre back. If he's not fit, I'd go Mark Gahey on that side. And then at left centre back, I think he'll go with Levi Colwill. I would personally go Jared Branthwaite. But it's tricky with Branthwaite because he hasn't actually played for England yet. And I think he's bloody unlucky to not have got a call up for England again. I think he's been doing really well at Everton since David Moyes came in, and he was doing well before that, but even more so now with Moyes. So, apologies. I think he's even more unlucky now, because he's actually got a manager that's trying to play football as well. And to be 22 and not being called up to England yet, when he's had a season and a half where he's been outstanding, basically. I think if he was playing for a better team, he would be getting called up to this squad, and he'd be getting more attention as well. I feel like no one's actually mentioned him when the squad got announced. And Colwill, I don't mind Colwill. I think he gets a bit too much hype. I know he's good passing at the back, but at the end of the day, he's got to be able to defend. And I just think Branthwaite's a better defender than him when I watch him play. Yeah, I just do. I think he's a bit more physically dominant. I think he's got a bit more about him when he's defending. He's better in the air than Colwill. But if he plays Colwill, he plays Colwill, and I won't be upset with it. I just think there's a better left side centre half that could go in there. But like I said, Colwill's brilliant on the ball, so if he wants to be playing at the back, then yeah, by all means, like he can thread passes through, and he's one of the best in the Premier from defence. Then we move. So far he's gone for Colwill, Stones, and Reece James. I've gone for Trent, Stones, and Branthwaite. Left back. Now, left back's tricky. I think the obvious left back, for me anyway, and I think the obvious left back that would start for Tuchel now is Lewis Hall. You'll obviously know him a little bit from when he was at Chelsea, because he would have been in the academy at that point, so you might actually know a bit about him. And had he not been ruled out for the season with his injury, he definitely would have been in the squad. I think he definitely would have been starting. I don't think Luke Shaw starts if he's fit anymore. While he's a good player, I just think you can't trust him to finish the tournament. So I'd actually be surprised if he took Luke Shaw next tournament. He needs to get up again. He's like Reece James. he needs to get a tournament and the season under his belt, because he's not done both of them in a long time. You know, he plays like 3 games, gets injured, so yeah, he needs to get season under the belt. He wants to play for England in the tournament again, I think. Because you've also got Miles Lewis-Skelly coming through, who I think, if Arsenal continues to play him at left back next season, he still gets minutes, with obviously Timber and White being there. I think there's every chance he goes. Excuse me, sorry, it's still early in the morning, still trying to wake up a little bit. Yeah, I think there's every chance that he goes, and he could start. Like, he genuinely could start. But I think he would go Lewis Hall. And he has been outstanding this season. I think you've got Lewis Hall and Trent as your fullbacks. You're progressing that. The progressiveness of that defence is outrageous. Like, the passing out the back with Stones, Branthwaite, Trent, and Lewis Hall, insane. Like, they have all ranges of passes there available to them. They can both drop into midfield, the 2 fullbacks, if they need to. You can play them as traditional left backs and right backs if you want. There's none of this inverting stuff where you're making the pitch smaller. I think Lewis Hall is perfect. I think if we'd have had him in the last Euros, who knows what would have happened. The team would have been completely different, because you saw what we were like with Shaw. The team was completely different with Shaw. So Lewis Hall, I expect to have another good season with Newcastle next season, and I expect him to be on the plane next summer and to start for us in a World Cup final. And I expect Lewis-Skelly to definitely get minutes as well in that World Cup. I'm not gonna lie. People calling for Jed Spence. I like Jed Spence, but not left back. Maybe it's just me. I really don't like the right foot left backs. I understand when Cantella was doing it. When Cantella was doing it, he was also going up the line as well a lot of the time, because he can use his left foot. When I see like Livramento or Trippier, or I'm trying to think who else does it for England, especially when them two play left back, they can't open it, closes off half the pitch. So when they attack down the left hand side, every time we get the ball, it's just cutting, and there's no overlap, so it doesn't make any sense for me, unless they're going to play as a third midfielder. Then it doesn't make sense to me, you know. So Spencer's unlucky to not get in this squad, don't get me wrong, because obviously there's no Lewis Hall, but I think he needs to get minutes at right back. I think if he wants to push for England, he needs to get minutes at right back, and I actually really liked him at Forest. I wanted Arsenal to sign him as our right back. Might be before Ben White. I think Ben White was playing centre half when he was there. Obviously that's before I knew Saliba was going back. At the time, Saliba looked like he was actually going to go and get sold. But yeah, anyway, Lewis Hall left back. I think Tuchel will play him and I'll play him. Then we'll go 2 pivots. I think one's a shoo-in, which is Declan Rice. I don't think there's any argument about that. He's going to have to play in the 6 for England. And I think he does it well for England. But I think you need someone next to him to progress the ball a bit better. So while I love Rice, he's not like a sexy number 6. You know, he's not going to get the ball off the defenders, turn and drive through the midfield, or play little cute passes here and there. He needs someone next to him that can do that. And the one for me that's going to take on the half turn next to him is Kobbie Mainoo. I thought for England in the Euros he was outstanding. He's gone a bit off the boil at United recently. I'm hoping that's just because United have gone off the boil a lot. But he'll pick it up again. But I don't know with him, because obviously he's got these contract negotiations going on right now, and there's no guarantee he actually signs a contract there. I would take him at Arsenal in a heartbeat. 70 million, 18, 19. I'd take him in a heartbeat at Arsenal. I think he'd be brilliant for us as well on the left, in that left 8 position. I think he'd be perfect. But I think you have him and Rice as a double pivot in midfield would be absolutely perfect for us. Whether he'll play him, I'm not sure. This is the thing with this. I actually don't know who he's going to play. I've thought about it, and I know he brought Henderson in, but I think Henderson is the only cover option for Rice, and he's not wrong, because Archie Gray has not played enough. I think Archie Gray is the long-term cover for Declan Rice, and eventually will take over from Declan Rice in 5 years time, 5-6 years time, when Rice is hitting about 30, 32. Maybe he'll play with him, probably will play with him, but that's how I look at that one. I think Archie Gray is the long-term cover for Rice, but he's not played in holding mid. He's not playing holding mid in the Premier League, so you can't even put him in the conversation yet. He's been dubbed in at centre half with Spurs, which is really poor. I'm not gonna get into Spurs, because that's just another a can of jars that I'm gonna open another day. But yeah, you can't put him in a conversation for England squad yet, because he just hasn't played in the right position. He hasn't played well enough, really. Not his fault, but he just hasn't. So the other one that's played recently, I actually like, and I wouldn't mind playing, is Angel Gomez. I don't think he made the squad this time around, so I'm very intrigued what he does. Whether he wants to play Bellingham a bit deeper, which I actually don't mind either, but I'd personally go with that too as my base in midfield. I feel it gives you a nice balance, big man, little man combo, but in the double pivot. Yeah, I'm not sure what he'll go with. That's the only thing. I think he might. There's a chance he tries to go 4-3-3 with Bellingham in next to Rice, basically. Which again, I actually don't mind if he tries that, because Bellingham can do that job as the 8. But yeah, well, that's something we'll uncover more the more we see Tuchel play with England. So yeah, that's my double pivot done. I think right wing, you can't look past Bukayo Saka. You look at Arsenal this season without Bukayo Saka in a different team, it just shows the quality of the player. And I don't think there's another player in the England squad who's been as consistent as Bukayo Saka for the country. So I think he's a shoo-in with me, and especially with Tuchel. I think, like I said, I don't see a natural right winger anywhere to Saka's level from England. People might mention Madueke. He's not Saka's level or anywhere near it. You could play Cole Palmer on the right, but again, I just don't think he's as good as Bukayo Saka on that right hand side. He might be better than him as a player, but on the right hand side, being effective, you need some pace. It's very simple. You need some pace in international football sometimes. You look at this great Spanish teams, they end up bringing Jesus Navas on the right wing because it gave them space to stretch the game. So I think Bukayo Saka is definitely a shoo-in, no matter who's fit. I think if everyone's fit, Bukayo Saka starts, guaranteed. First name on the sheet, basically. And then my left winger. There's no one that stands out for me in particular. I think Rashford's been really good lately. Whether he's going to be good enough to start for England, he could be, but right now he's not my answer. I've actually put Morgan Rogers as my left winger, or left mid, whatever you want to call it. My left-sided player is Morgan Rogers, because I think he can have a really good relationship with Lewis Hall at left wing. I think he can rotate with my forward players really nicely, and I just think he's a quality player, and you need a bit of a dribbler in your team. He is one of the best dribblers in the Premier League this season. statistically, and when you actually watch him play, you know, on the eye, he's very smooth on the ball. He takes risks, but they normally pay off. And I just think he's a quality player. Sorry guys, one sec. Yeah, Morgan Rogers, I think he's going to be a future England starter. I think the trajectory he's on is he's going to reach a very high level. Whether he does it at Villa, he definitely could. Rashford definitely comes in with a shout if he can maintain this form he's in. I think that's contingent on him and getting this move to Villa permanently done. And to be fair, if he, I would have no issues with Rashford starting. I would actually love Rashford to start for England. There was a point I think last season where he was linked with a move away from United, and I actually wanted Arsenal to sign him. I thought he'd be great for us. I really like Rashford when he's on form, and I did think, oh, maybe he's actually gonna, you know, leave United. And then I was like, we have been linked with him, and I thought he would have done really well for us. To be honest, I thought Arteta would have got the best out of him on that left wing, because the left wing for us gets very isolated, and I thought, oh, Rashford wouldn't mind that. He could beat a man. He's good dribbling. So I would probably take him if all goes to plan. I'd take him, Gordon, and Morgan Rogers, like my left-sided players who can play elsewhere. You know, Gordon can play on the right if need be. Rogers can play on the 10 if you have to. Rashford can fill in up top if you really need him to. But that would be my two wingers, which means one of Foden, Bellingham, and Palmer is not starting for my England side in this World Cup final. And I'm actually playing almost 2 10s. Not really, actually. I'm playing one as like a false 9 and one just off him. So what I'm doing is I'm putting Bellingham in the false 9, like he did for Real Madrid in this first season, because I think he can do it, and I actually really liked him in that position. I thought he was very effective. He makes really smart runs. You don't need to leave him up front by himself either. Like he can drop in as well, and he'll link up play perfectly. I don't actually have Kane starting for me here. Whether that's realistic, I don't think so. So I think what he's most likely going to do, Tuchel, is he'll play Bellingham, Rice, and another central midfielder in the middle. He'll play Saka, Kane, and Foden, and he'll do what he's going to shoehorn Foden onto that left wing. That's what I think. If he doesn't, I'll be happy. But if he doesn't, I think he does it in a 3-back where he puts Bellingham and Foden in the 2 10s. That's how I look at it. But with Kane, I just think he's a brilliant, world-class striker, but he's just not the right player for England. I think his time for England, I think it's finished now in terms of how effective he can be for us. He's not the sort of striker that we need in the team, because he just comes to feet all the time. He's not a threat in behind, and when we do go in behind with Saka, he doesn't actually manage to get in the box. He's not got the legs to do it. So while I love Kane for England, he's done amazing for us, I just think he can't be starting in the World Cup final should we reach it. I think take him by all means, you know. Take him along and give him minutes in games. You know, if we're winning a game, or he'd be perfect to bring on when you're winning the game. You just hold up the ball and stuff. Or if you're chasing a goal, ideal. But I just don't think you start him. So I think for me personally, Kane and Foden are missing out in my team, because I've got Palmer in behind Bellingham. Reason being, Palmer's done more in an England shirt than Foden has in about a fifth of his minutes. That goal in the Euros, it's only something Foden can dream of doing for England. Palmer, I know he's in it. It's quite, I don't know if it's rogue to say this now because he's in a bit of a rough patch, but when Palmer's going, he's the best player in the Premier League. Like, I don't think that's saying anything outrageous there. I thought he was unlucky last season not to win the PFA Player of the Year. Like, he was just that good. So I would love to see him in the 10 in that England side. I don't know what Enzo's doing with him. He's playing him in like a right-sided 8 or what. Enzo's just a very odd manager. He's doing a lot of weird things at Chelsea right now, and I think it's affecting Cole Palmer's form. But I think Tuchel will love Palmer. I do think he'll use him correctly. So yeah, that's my 11. So it's in goal, Pickford; right back Trent; centre backs of Stones and Jared Branthwaite; left back would be Lewis Hall; double pivot of Kobe Mainoo and Declan Rice; right winger Saka; left winger Morgan Rogers; and my 2 10s would be, or my false 9 of Palmer, of Bellingham, and the number 10 would be Cole Palmer. Whether Tuchel agrees with that, I don't think he will. I think we'll be seeing Harry Kane play for quite a while. I still think we'll be seeing Phil Foden in the squad. So I actually think Cole Palmer might end up missing out, which would be, if Cole Palmer misses out in starting for England in the long term, it's a crime. But yeah, thank you guys for coming along today. I hope you enjoyed. If you didn't, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your team would be personally. Let me know what you think Tuchel might do. Yeah, thanks for coming along. Peace.